It's almost impossible to get into a relationship without playing the dating game, okay? But not everyone has the same expectations when it comes to dating. So I want to know from you lovely ladies, what's the worst date that you've been on? And when it comes to first dates, should it be somewhere luxury and lavish, or should it be cheap and cheerful? What do you think?
I don't think that a first date needs to be luxury and lavish, personally, because I think sometimes people, when they're trying to sell themselves to a person, they end up selling the lifestyle more than who they are, and then that plays like a factor in the destruction of the relationship later on, when it's like, we used to go to the Cube and now you're taking me to McDonald's, like, do you know what I mean? So I don't think it should be trashy. I don't think you should like have not thought about it at all, because that's like horrible. But I think you could definitely be creative, and for me, like a good date would be having a creative activity, something more than just dinner and a movies, and then also just having a time where you get to know that person, because the best and worst dates that I've been on have been in terms of the people that I've discovered, and not really the activity that we've done. So if I was to tell you my best date, which I don't because he'll know who he is, if I was to tell you my best date, it would really be the best connection, and rather than the best activity. In terms of worst dates, this also goes into personality again, I feel, because I went on a date with this guy, and I will take full responsibility because, you know, it was a Tinder date. So what was I really expecting?
No, don't say that. I've people in my family who met on Tinder and they are now engaged with a baby. So some people
can't relate.
My friend is married with a baby and a mortgage, and she met from
yeah.
It's what's going on in the dating apps.
No. What did you say, Anissa?
What's going on the dating apps? I'm not on any. So I was like, is this what's going on?
See, I've deaded Tinder. It's been like ages since I've been on Tinder, but then I've been trying Hinge, and I'm just like, I don't know. Anyways, so this Tinder date, I had been talking to this guy for a while, and I feel like I'm happy that everyone's having these great experiences with Tinder people, but mine are like few and far between, to be honest. Like, it's hard to find people who are not like not looking for the stereotypical thing that you expect like a swiper to be looking for, if you know what I mean. So when I started talking to this guy, I was like, oh my gosh, he's interesting. He was like a teacher as well, so he was like smart. He was giving me good conversation, and he was handsome. So I was like, tick, 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 tickety, tick, tick, tick. Amen. So Sophie said, preach into the choir. I went to meet him, and he was like unbuttered toast, man. He was dry, and I really feel like there can be something that is like there can be a keyboard confidence, there can be an online persona that you don't bring in real life. Like, I think that, like, in terms of like me, and it's kind of like what you see is what you get. Like, who you see online, I hope, is who you meet in person. There's really not much like differentiation between the two. But with him, it was like, and okay, let me just give myself a compliment as well. I'm really good at talking to strangers, and I'm really good at making strangers feel comfortable with me very quickly, which is why most of the time I work in customer service, because like that is a skill that I have. Yeah. So it is not me. I was not the problem. He was just boring. And so I was like, wow, am I really sitting here? You know, when you're making the most effort, you're doing this, you're doing that. They really aren't bringing that much to the table. He also was less attractive in real life. And I know that like a picture and a person, I really feel like humans are attracted to energy. So you can be attracted to a picture and then not attracted to the person when you meet them in real life. But for me, the most important thing is personality. And because his personality was like, you know, when someone's dying and it goes beep, beep, beep.
Oh my days.
He was like,
oh my gosh.
That's it. It was, I even ended, I cut the date short because I was like, I'm really not one for wasting my time. I'm really not one for being in places that I don't want to be. If I don't want to be there, I would just leave. So I left. And then like halfway up the road, he's messaging me like, you're even more beautiful in real life. When can I see you again? Where was this energy?
No.
Where was this energy, sir? I just met you. Who is this person that I can see through the, so that frustrated me so much. I think that like tops, what are you going to say, Sophie?
I think that's what's really difficult nowadays. Like, I think, I don't want to say my husband again because I feel like I said it so much today, but I started dating him just before, in my opinion, that online dating had that massive boom. So I dated him a couple of years ago, and this is when all of me and my friends were expecting to meet people organically. And I think now organic is probably going to be online in a couple of years. That's going to be the organic way. But I feel like 4 years ago, it was like meeting someone in person through a friend, or someone talks to you onto the street or whatever. And I think online dating is kind of taken out that skill that guys had to have to be able to talk to you, because it's so easy to be confident online, to kind of talk and to not have the inhibitions of the way that you look or the way your mouth looks, or she's so beautiful, I'm taking a gasp, I don't know what to do. So I think that's really tough for him. And I think people, men and women, need to really work on their people skills, because being online doesn't help people to do that. Like I'm one of the generations that remember before computers came in, so you remember what it was like without, where it's a generation now who don't have that memory. So I think people are much more reliant.
That's why I had to just make clear that my people skills are 10 out of 10, maybe even 11 out of 10. I just had to make that clear. Like, this is not the issue. And this is why I even came off dating apps for a really long time, because I am that person. I know that sometimes it wastes my time, because like in-person energy, I'm so big on. And speaking to someone without the gap of having to think about what you can reply to, like just having conversation like how we're having a conversation now. Like we're learning each other, we have a dynamic, we have a friendship, like because we're able to speak like that. Whereas if we were to have met in text, like would we have still liked each other the same way? Because there's all those different things of, you know, if you say something to me and I read it in the wrong tone, maybe I read it in the tone of the way that I'm feeling on that day, and I take you the wrong. There's all those things going on. So I 100% would prefer in-person human connections. But to quote Lily Allen, it is hard out here for a bleep. Like,
well, ladies, let me hear you for my worst date. My worst date was.
Please, I want to hear it.
Yeah, it wasn't even a date.
Okay.
So basically, I had gone out with my girl. So this is going back, maybe 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, right? Gone out with my girl. We'd gone to some party, and I won't lie, I was looking pink. You know, I was looking gorgeous. I was feeling myself. And I remember we were in a group, and this guy kept on looking at me, but I wasn't really in the mood, so I just kind of like walked away. So then later on at the end of the night, we are going home. It's like 4 or 5 a.m. and a group of us stop to talk again. And then I get to actually see this guy properly. I'm like, oh wait, he's actually nice, you know. I was like, why did I walk away before? So in this group now, he's proper directing his it's like we're having a one-to-one conversation. He don't care about anyone else. Like, he's talking to me. I swear, there's a long story that is associated with how we exchange numbers, but I'll leave it on for another day. So let's just say eventually we exchange numbers, right? So I expect, if you are approaching me, if you want to get to know me, if you take my number, you will call me the next day. Yeah. And when I say the next day, bear in mind that we were together at like 4 to 6 a.m. in the morning. So I expect a call that day that we're in.
Yes,
I'm just saying,
girl.
that's just me.
Set them standards, girl. Set them standards.
Sophie, say it. If you don't say it, who's going to say it for you? So you know, as expected, as expected, he called me that same day. Conversation was going calm, you know, very, you know, there were similarities, you know, he basically ticked all the boxes that I'd like. So now it's time to go on this date. He's asking me, okay, am I available such and such day? I'm like, yeah, fine, we'll make it a ding. We'll make it a ting. Let's say, is it half an hour before I'm about to get in my car? This one messages me, oh, I'm sorry, my brother's sister's gone into labor. I'm like, babes, are you the midwife? But okay. Are you delivering that child? Okay. He's gone into labor. He can't make the date. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, we'll leave it there for now. He's trying to rearrange with me. I'm like, fine, we can do next week. Next week comes. I don't even know what excuse he flew to me this time. I said, you know what, babes? Let's leave it here. Because I'm not the one you cancel on twice, okay? Sorry. Eventually, he drives down to my house and we sit in the car and we have a little conversation. And, you know, he starts feeling me, like he's feeling me. When I say feeling me, I don't mean physically feeling me, but I can tell that he's enjoying this conversation, right? But I'm kind of reserved now. I'm like, sorry, this isn't a date to me. This is a conversation we could have had on the phone. So if you want to date me, if you want to court me, you got to do it correctly. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, don't worry, I'll sort out another day. Third time lucky. Do we go out? Nope.
No.
One fantastical. I said, you know what, I'm done. So anyways, long story short, he bumps into me at a party, a New Year's Eve party. You know, it's just gone New Year's. He sees me, he takes me to the side. Yeah. I'm like, babes, you're really wasting my time because there are a lot of men in here that want to come and talk to me, and you're taking up all my
You better
time.
tell him.
Him no, you are taking up all my time. And I said to him, whilst I'm in an R-ring debating whether to knock on this door, by the time you knock on the door, someone else will be living there and occupying your space. So if you want to move with me, you've got to move correctly. What happened? I met my boyfriend. I met my man. We've been together 4 years. This guy lost out. So we got to set standards when it comes to dating. So even they're like,
Guys,
Did you say 4 years?
You guys ain't never had no bad dates. These are not bad date story. Anissa, you go, but I'm going to come back and tell you a bad date story.
I had a horrible date, and it's the reason why I wouldn't say I'm luxury and lavish versus cheap and cheap, but I don't know what we were talking about earlier, like maybe the dates are bad because of the person's personality. No. I think the dates are bad because of circumstances and environmental factors, and that could be because of the money that you've chosen to spend. So what I mean by that,
yeah,
I don't need you to bring me up to Hakkasan for the first date. You know, don't give me Uber XL and Uber Exec and Hakkasan. It's not what I need. Do you know what I mean? But I do think for a first date, you should have a bit of effort. Do you know what I mean? You want to court me. I want to court you. I'm going to do up the big up the hair, the makeup, the outfit. I'm going to look cute, honey.
Yep.
I expect you to be looking cute. And even if we're doing something active, you know, casual, cute, like I need an effort because it wasn't even a first date, but it was just a worst date, okay? We'd already been out, okay? And so there's somebody I was seeing. And so he said that we were going to go out to dinner. So I said, oh, okay, that's fine. The last minute, he said, no, like, he can't go to dinner, but, like, can I just come to his house and we'll just watch a movie? Now, unfortunately, I don't play the house girl thing, so I'm not your girlfriend. I just don't go to your house. It's not my business. But I said, you know what? I'm going to be open because also at the same time, everyone told me, Anissa, you have to do more personality than the way that they look. You're not attracted to everyone, blah, blah, blah. You grow an attraction, which I believe is a lie. So I was like, you know what? You're not my type, but I think you're handsome, but you have a nice personality. So I'm just going to go along with this. Okay, the dinner is cancelled. Okay, I'm going to go to the house and watch the movie. Now, when I live watch things, I'm a live commentator, okay? Even if I'm watching on Netflix. So I tweet at the same time as I watch things. It's just my life. So I'm at the house now. I'm sitting on my side of the sofa. You're sitting on your side of the sofa. I'm deciding, oh, God, why am I using my own data? So I said to him, first of all, he didn't even have snacks. I want to be clear. There was no snack. He didn't even offer me water. So I was sitting there with my parched mouth, okay? And then I said to him, what's the Wi-Fi? What's the Wi-Fi? I need it. He said, what Wi-Fi? I said, the Wi-Fi in your house. I need it for my Twitter. I can't be using my data. He went, oh, I don't have Wi-Fi. I said, what do you mean you don't have Wi-Fi? He said, I don't have Wi-Fi, but I can personal hotspot, if you like. I said, personal hotspot? I said, no. I said, no, why don't you have Wi-Fi? He says, why would I have Wi-Fi if I have unlimited data? I said, but that's just on your phone. How do you power your Netflix and your laptop and your PlayStation? I don't understand what you're saying. He was like, oh, yeah, I just hotspot it one at a time. At that moment, I just thought to myself, no, I cannot. So I excused myself and said, thank you, but no thank you. And I left. And we no longer spoke. Because I thought, if you don't even have Wi-Fi, there's nothing to be here. Because I don't expect myself to those kind of conditions. So why would I let somebody else do that to me? I thought, no water, no snack, you cancel dinner, and you don't have no Wi-Fi? Absolutely not.
Guys,
As if the Wi-Fi was the final straw.
These are tame examples. I went on a date with a guy, and he had this is some time back. He had about 10 years on me, so he was older, he was mature. I'm like, again, I was talked into it, and that's one of my things. Don't let no one talk you into a date, because I have been talked into dates, and I'm just like, I should have gone with my gut instinct, and they weren't worth the date. So I go out with this guy. Strike number one for me, he took me to a Chinese buffet. I'm just like, don't take me to a buffet on the first date. You need to let me know that you're willing to spend. Don't take me on a Chinese buffet. Don't bring out a discount card. Don't bring out a coupon. First date, don't do it. Set an example. We go to the Chinese buffet. Girls feeling a little parts. I'm drinking my drink. He goes to me, don't drink that too fast. You know they're £2 each. I was just like, oh, okay. So we're chatting, and he's just like looking down my top. He was like, you know, I like breasts, as you can tell. Yeah. So I was just like, I just want to say, caveat, I was young at the time. So with the knowledge I have now, I would have just said, you know, my friend, here's your £5 for the food. I'm out. I was too young.
Could you say how young?
I think I was 19 or 20. maybe 20,
Damn.
maybe early 20s, very early 20s. And then, so after that now, he was like, I want to return something to a shop. He got this scent, this fragrance. He was like, I didn't buy it from this shop, but I'm going to see if man can work a thing. I was just
Absolutely not.
He went to the shop, he was just like, oh, can I swap this? Can I do a little deal? Can I... And I was just like, oh, I was dying of embarrassment. Then he was like, let's go cinema. I was just like, okay, then. We go to the cinema. He goes to the counter. He was just like, oh, yeah, I'm a student. And they're like, can we see your student card? He was just like, no. I forgot it. And they were just like, we can't give it. So he was like, fine, he'll pay full price. And I was just like, we went to go get snacks. And he was just going to the guy, you know, dude, you're black. I'm black. Just give me a large, but charge me, you know, come on, let's just work a thing. And I will never forget the way the woman at the counter looked at me with this. She was just kind of like, and that's your man.
Yeah.
Okay, Sophie, you win that one because
I went to die. After that, he took me back to the station now, and I had travelled clean across London to go on this date because he was just like, he was finishing up with work or whatever. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, you coming back or dropping me back? He was like, no, I just live down the road, but, you know, have a safe journey. I was just like,
absolutely.
oh. And he was like, so where's this going? I was just like, you know, it's not going anywhere, and it's just not going anywhere. So, guys, you don't know about bad dates. I've been in them trenches for years. It's just terrible.
Can I just say, okay, so to any like older man trying to date a younger woman, please don't, unless you're gonna give that full sugar daddy experience. Like part of the for real, because part of the interest in dating older men is you're supposed to be on my level of intelligence. You're supposed to have your life together. You're supposed, do you know what I mean? You're supposed to have your funds together as well. Like even if you're younger and it's like something like, oh, they have their own apartment, oh, they have their own car, oh, they have like a Monday to Friday job. Like give me something. You can't be coming with if I'm 19 and I'm dating a 30-year-old man, you can't be coming with a 19-year-old boy energy. You can't be bringing it. Chinese buffet is where I used to go when I was 13 years old.
Look,
honestly, what are you doing?
Don't take me anywhere that I can go when I'm shopping in Westfield and I'm hungry. Like, I can't be shopping and I'm in Zara. I'm just like, Linda, girl, I'm tired. Let's go catch a Nando's. Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
And now don't take me on a date to Nando's. I'm not going to do it. Like, for me.
I'm going to say it straight. I know the men who are watching this might be like, oh, but I got... No, it's not even about being a gold digger. And like Anissa said, you don't have to take me to Hakkasan for the first date. I'd like it. I enjoy Hakkasan, but you don't have to take me there for the first date. But you have to make an effort. And what I truly believe is this, right? And I'm not saying that you get into a relationship to share finances and, you know, to completely lavish someone else with your money and your hard earnings, etc. But if you are not financially ready, right? That means that you have checked your finances and you are aware that, you know what, I cannot take this person out to somewhere that is a quality standard, and I cannot go out to trips, and I can't, you know, maybe go golf or go on holiday, then, you know, my friend, don't date yet. And I'm saying this not just to men, I'm saying it to women as well, because one of the things with me, like my boyfriend, our first date was a restaurant in Soho and West End. Not my favorite restaurant of all times, but I could tell that he made a bit of effort. You know, we do different activities, we go on holidays, and it's not just him that pays, you know, don't get twisted. I do spoil him and he spoils me too, but it's because we're both financially in a position where we can do that. So men and women, I'm saying, if you are not financially stable, then just leave the dating game for a second until you're ready. And also men in particular, if you are going to date a woman, I'm not talking about people who are in same-sex relationships, because I'm not too equipped to talk on that. But men, if you are going to court a female, I'm sorry, but Nando's is not the thing.
No, it's not. Like,
but guys, I don't really agree with not being able to date until you're financially stable, because that's why I said at the beginning, like, the point is you can be creative. Like, I don't need you to have money. I just need you to have the personality that attracts me. So you can be creative with a small amount of money and get Sophie, stop it. So it's like, nah.
My mum said to me, when you go on a date, you tell them. My mum said to me, when you go on a date, you'd be like, I'm not bringing my purse. Do you still want me to come? Like,
wow, really?
That is the level my mum was saying to me, like, Sophie, you let them know what your worth is. And it's not like I wouldn't bring my purse. I obviously would, because if things go south, I need to find my way home and whatever. But for me, I've gotten to a place in my life, I'm like, there's a level of expectation. And I don't think it's about spending a lot of money. I agree. Because like Nando's is even cheap these days. It's not. Nando's isn't even cheap. If you're going to pay for 2 people to eat at Nando's, you've at least got £30 in your pocket. Yeah. You could take me to a little festival that's doing Mexican food. You can tell me to a little this or that. It's £5 entry and buy me a burrito. And it shows more thought because you've thought about it. But taking me somewhere where we have to line up, we don't know if we're going to get a table, there's 50 people around me, I can't hear you. You are not setting the tone for the sort of relationship that I want to be in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but that's nothing to me that is to do with creativity.
Jump on quickly, because I just think it's not that you have to be like, you have to be balling, but for me now, if I was younger, then I'd say, okay, it doesn't matter if you don't have I'd say it doesn't matter if you don't have money, you can date freely. But me now, in my age, if at this point do you know what, life happens and hits you, I completely understand that. But if at this point you are not financially stable, then I would prefer you to concern your efforts with stabilizing yourself economically versus trying to court me, because in the long run you need to make sure that you're stable. I'm just saying that from my age, like now that I am over a particular age, we're not dealing with the struggles we were doing when we were 15 and 17. I'm a grown-ass woman now. I need you to have it together if you're coming to me.
Exactly, because I'm having it together too. Like we're in this together, and I think the reason about financially stable as you get older, for me, I'm like, it's starting to say something, and that doesn't mean a lot of money. If you have a plan, and I dated a guy just when I got with him, he quit his big job because he was going back to university, so he didn't have as much, but he had a plan. He had a goal.
Yes.
If you have no plan and you have no money in your pocket, but there ain't no life plan, you're not studying for your PhD, you're not going back to retrain as a carpenter. Like, what is it that you're doing? Because you need to be like, are we in this together? Like, the point is, if you don't have any money and I don't have any money, eventually it is going to be an issue. Because how are we going to do things so that, is it every time we're going to go for a walk? Every time we're going to sit in the yard and watch a film on Netflix? I expect
money, babes.
I expect more.
I hear the thing about ambition, and this is probably like something that I've struggled with, because for me, like, ambition is so important. And I don't mean you need to want to feel like you want to be the prime minister or something, but you need to value your life enough to have a plan for it. And that, to me, is an attractive quality, especially because you're going to be dealing with a very ambitious babes on the other end. And I need you to not be intimidated because you have your own plans going on. You know? So I've even had, I've had scenarios where, like, I mean, I was dating this guy and he was trash. Let me just, he was not great. And I don't want to keep calling men trash, but he was. No. But I was doing a show and I was in a different city and I could have stayed to go to the after party of the show, but he was also performing. So I came from the city that I was performing in to watch his performance on time. But because he was intimidated by me doing this and doing that, and sometimes he'd like pick me up from auditions or pick me up from castings and blah, 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 he was frustrated at the fact that I saw a bigger vision for my life than he did for his. Or sometimes it's like a reminder that you're not really working as hard as you think you are when you meet someone who is about it, who's really about that life. What are you going to say?
I don't think that has anything to do with his ambition. And that has to do with probably how he sees himself as a person. He doesn't have enough self-worth in himself to be confident in what it is that he's doing. Because I probably would have said I wanted to date an ambitious guy in the past. But I think now that I've met my husband, that's probably not what I want. Like, he has made me realize that it's better to have somebody who has purpose in what they're doing. Because
that's what I'm saying.
Nowadays, we put ambition as to making money. If he's ambitious, you know, you want to be the top, you want to be the lead. But my husband, I've never said this, but my husband's a pastor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he very much loves what he does. Like, he's just like, I've been called to this. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to be my entire life. And it ain't bringing in big bucks, girls. Like, if someone's going to have to earn more money, it's going to be me. And I do. And he's comfortable with that. And he's comfortable in himself, in his manhood, because he's just like, I know what I bring to the relationship. Yes. I know what I bring to you. I know who I am. But he's so contented with the job that he does and loves doing it. It's made me rethink, actually, I want that for my life. I want to wake up excited and feeling I have so much purpose in my job. It just lights my heart on fire to do it. So for me, that's now what my goal would be if my husband dies, not if we broke
God
up.
forbid.
Anyway,
I
it would
agree.
be a guy. I don't want to say break up because I'm not speaking that into my husband's life. So that was the only way.
The only way we're breaking up is if you die, bro.
Exactly. That's the only way you're getting rid of me. So for me, it would have to be someone who feels called to what they're doing. And if that's the bin
exactly
man,
what I'm
and you're just
saying.
like, I just love my job because I get to really make the streets clean, do it, babe. But
That's
always
exactly
said.
what I meant by saying loving your life enough to have a plan for it, because you have ambition, you have purpose, you want to be here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love someone who loves themselves enough to create something for their life. And I don't it's not relating to money, because I think what we've learned through this conversation, that I don't really care about that. That's not the most important thing to me, because I feel like I can meet you at any stage of your journey. And if your personality shines through, then it shines through. I don't really care if you have enough money to like fund a that's not important to me. Like, who you are, how you see the world, how you see yourself, how you see the people around you, and how you see me is always going to be the most important thing for me when considering entering into a relationship with someone.
I agree. And I think I agree with both of you, because I've always said that I want a man that is a boss. And it doesn't mean that he has to be, the boss at work. It just has to be a boss of himself. And I think that's what everyone's saying, is that we want people
Spiritual
that be a boss of yourself. Spiritual gangster, spiritual bad man.
Yes, girl. And I'd like to say my husband still got big money on